Attention, future consultants. Time is running out to join the February Strategy Sprint Consulting project. What is Strategy Sprint and why should you consider it? Well, if you're a sophomore in undergrad, an advanced professional degree candidate, or an experienced hire, Strategy Sprint is an amazing opportunity for you to, number one, test out consulting to see if it's right for you. Number two, add some amazing experience to your resume to bulk it up ahead of applications. And then number three, to get mentorship from a former McKinsey, Bain, and BCG consultant. Strategy Sprint is a 1-week virtual consulting project that works with your schedule, for your schedule, and is an amazing opportunity to bulk up your resume and gain new skills. Strategy Sprint runs February 1st through the 7th, 2025, and there are just a couple of spots left. Grab your seat at the link in this episode's show notes.
It happens to thousands of candidates every year and are some of the saddest emails that we get. When somebody sends us a message and says, I applied, I failed, what's next? Today, I'm going to share a little bit about the process that we've walked a number of people through. In fact, we have over 100 every year who find us only after they first tried to break into consulting and they don't want to mess up again. Our job today is to walk you through 4 things that you need to think about. First, how to get feedback from the firm so that you can make sure you don't make the same mistakes twice. Second, how to confirm your reapplication period or duration for how long you have to wait to apply again. Third, how to build a great plan to make sure that your success is assured. And fourth, how to execute on that plan. Let's dive into the content. But before we do, just quickly, make sure that you subscribe to this awesome channel with incredible information about applications, job opportunities, consulting, and more. The first thing you need to do after the reality check of a rejection is to identify feedback from the firm that will help you do better in the future. Sometimes firms are very open about the feedback. They'll say, here's what happened, and this was your score, and these are the things that you didn't do. Sometimes firms will be very general. Please do this and this the next time. And sometimes firms won't provide you with the feedback. But when you ask for feedback, please let them know, this is incredibly important to me. I plan to reapply, and I would love to know what I can work on between now and then to ensure that I have the best set of chances. Overall, the firm will appreciate both your disciplined approach and also that you're open to feedback, one of the key characteristics that they are looking for in their future consultants. Second, when you're engaging with the firm or just by checking out some of the information on their website or videos, confirm what the reapplication timeline is. This is a show of honor. It's important for you to know because you might follow it, but it's also important for you to know where you can find loopholes in their reapplication process. Because if a firm says you're not allowed to apply for the same job in the next 18 months, guess what? There's other jobs that they'll post. If they say you're not allowed to apply for the same location for the next 18 months, perhaps you can look at a new location. So really understanding what their policies are can help you not become a nuisance and find the best opportunities for the way to break in. Number 3, you should build a plan to close your gaps. So once you know now how long you have until your next application period, where you're thinking about potentially applying that could be different, which job might be a better and more right one for you, or what you could do to rebuild your story, there's a lot to think about here. First, we'd recommend you take a relook at your resume, especially if you fell down in the application process and did not receive an interview. Having a great resume that has some gaps filled. Perhaps you had not a great GPA and you really needed to get an MBA or a 1-year master's experience to provide the insights that you're really good in school. Or perhaps you didn't have great leadership experience. Maybe volunteering in your community or taking on a project could be powerful. Perhaps you needed a better work experience. You could do a project with us, like Strategy Sprint, where you work on a consulting team to solve a problem for a real-world client. And that can help you fill a gap inside your resume. So take a look at your resume and think about what you want to be on there the next time you apply. Solve for the gaps.
Looking for consulting firms that are hiring can be like trying to find a needle in a huge haystack. That's why we're excited to tell you about Palmtree, a leading M&A advisory and consulting firm that is looking for top talent across its U.S. offices in Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, and Dallas. Palmtree is a firm that sits at the intersection of strategy, finance, and analytics. The firm looks like a traditional consulting firm from the outside, but it's much more than that, functioning as a one-stop shop to support private equity clients. Palmtree is the single source for financial consulting and investment banking. If you're looking to develop a unique skill set, receive world-class training, and work for a dynamic firm, apply to Palmtree today. Visit the careers page at palmtreellc.com or click on the link in this episode's show notes.
Second, when you're thinking about how to bulk up, focusing on upgrading your interview skills is important whether you fell down in the application process or in an interview. And sometimes you'll have some really tactical feedback, but sometimes it won't be honest enough. I would recommend that you work for at least 1 hour with a coach to get some perspective on how you could do better the next time around. Sometimes we all have blind spots that only others can see. Third, don't neglect networking. Firms will never tell you that you didn't do enough networking. They're just picking other candidates over you. And so make sure that you have the right number of networking candidates, 2 to 3 per office that you plan to apply for in the future. And speaking of offices, networking is an amazing way to expand your reach inside a firm. And you might find a friendlier environment with a referral that changes your chances entirely. Fourth, you can work with our team on Black Belt or Super Prep. Both of these programs enable you to figure out what your gaps are all the way from the application process through interviews, and also provides the accountability and the expert coaching to get you there. We are so excited to walk alongside you, and there's more information about Black Belt and Super Prep in the show notes. Fourth and last, but certainly not least, I'm in the tech world, and there's a saying there: ideas are worth a penny, execution is worth $1 million. That's exactly what will happen here when you think about how to break in. The difference for people who get into consulting and people who don't has nothing to do with how smart you are or how capable you are. In fact, we meet a lot of people that are very smart and very capable. Everything comes down to execution. So once you understand what your gaps were from the firm's feedback, what you need to do in terms of your timeline and your office locations, and you've built a tactical plan to fill your gaps and bulk up so you're ready the next time, it's time to get going. And those who execute will be the ones who get the opportunities in the future. For someone who didn't go through the consulting process in an undergrad structured way, I missed junior recruiting, I missed senior recruiting, I'm a testimony of the fact that you can come in at different stages in your career. And we've worked with hundreds of people a year and thousands over the last decade to help them break into consulting as second chancers. So don't worry. All hope is not lost, but there might be a plan that would be a little harder than the first time around for you to execute on. Just make sure you know what you need to do to succeed this time. We'd love to help and are excited to be a part of your journey. If you're trying to re-recruit for consulting, first of all, we'd love to help. Second of all, we'd love for you to get it right this time. There's nothing more demoralizing than failing multiple times and not knowing what's going wrong. So if you're interested in investing, we'd recommend our Strategy Sprint, our Black Belt, or our Super Prep programs. And the link to all of those is in the show notes. If you want to have specific advice on your specific situation, then the best way to find that is just to send us an email, team@managementconsulted.com. And if you found something in this episode that you didn't know about or had never heard before that you liked or loved, we would love for you to like the podcast, rate it, and subscribe to the channel because we put out great content just like this all the time. Thanks so much for joining, and we hope to see you back in the future.